Second.
All right. Welcome to the House Environment and Transportation Committee voting session for Friday, March 29th, 2024. We will start with a concurrence. We have a concurrence on House Bill 78. And I would move that we concur with the Senate amendments.
Second.
Any discussion on the concurrence? All in favor of concurring with the Senate amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Okay, we have concur. Let's not do that too often though. We will go to Senate Bill 46. Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 46 came out of the subcommittee favorable with amendment. Short summary of the bill, it establishes that a contract for sale of a condominium unit is unenforceable if the contract does not contain specified notices related to the presence of asbestos. The committee clarifies that the initial contract of sale of condominium unit to the public contract must include a statement as to whether the vendor has actual knowledge of the presence of asbestos. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Okay, I'll second. The amendments have been moved and second. Any discussion on the amendments? Delegate Foley.
Mr. Subcommittee Chair,
Yes, ma'am.
I think the amendment to this, I could be wrong, was to make it conform to the House, was to change the word site to condominium. Am I correct? Isn't that the amendment?
That was one of them, yes.
Okay,
Yes, that is correct.
okay,
Because there, believe it or not, in the real estate article, there is no definition of
Right.
the word site.
Right.
Which is crazy, but
Right.
that's the way it is.
so that was that was the amendment.
That was
was to
an-
change.
yes,
Okay, thank you.
Any further discussion on the amendments? On for the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Uh,
And opposed to the amendments, amendments pass. I'll move the bill as amended. Any discussion on the bill as amended? All right, SB 46 with amendment. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone need to be recorded in opposition? Bill passes. SB 125, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and now I am back focused. I apologize. This bill came out of the subcommittee favorable with amended. As amended, the bill requires a seller of a residential property located within 1 mile of a national priorities list supplemented Superfund site to provide a specified amendment to contract of sale. The amendment must include the identification of the Superfund site that is within 1 mile of the property. Also must have the definition of NPL, which is a national priorities list, Superfund site under EPA guidelines. And number 3, information regarding specific EPA websites. This amendment makes the Senate bill identical to the House bill. Move the amendments, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Council, do you want to provide any clarification on the amendments?
Okay, thank you. So that's right. There was a lot of back and forth and more amendments, but with the ultimate shape of the amendments that are before the committee now and are related to what was discussed in subcommittee, the amendments now add more clarification again surrounding the usage of the specific URL language. That's been removed, the specific exact URL language. And in place of that, there is related language that still provides some more direction about the national priorities list and where all that information is on the EPA website. Now supported by both Senator Young and Delegate Fair. The last little thing is, I believe in on the Senate floor today, the senators did not introduce the amendments for inexplicably. So, but the amendments that are before the full committee now conform to what the delegate and senator desire. Yeah.
Great. So just as a reminder, this is a bill that Senator Lewis Young came in here and said 4 times that the House got it right, the Senate got it wrong.
Yes.
We spent a lot of time going back and forth to actually adopt some changes the Senate made. This is a final version that all parties seem to agree to. Any further discussion on the amendments? Called for the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Bill, the amendments passed. Bill's moved and seconded. Any further discussion on the bill? All right, SB 125 is amended. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Naraki. Okay. Bill passes. Senate Bill 162, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 162 got a favorable report out of the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. There are no amendments. The bill generally expands the circumstances on which a tenant's liability for rent may be limited when vacating the premises due to medical reasons. And also specifically extending the applicability of individuals with mental disorder to meet the certain requirements and authorizing psychologists to complete the necessary certification that a tenant must provide to the landlord. Move the bill is not amended, Mr. Chair, and as the bill is being reported to this full committee is identical to the House bill that was passed as well. Move the bill, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, bill's moving second. Discussion on SB 162. Okay, all in favor of SB 162, please signify by saying aye. And in which we record in opposition. Okay, bill passes. SB 171, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 171 came out favorable with amendment from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. And as amended, the bill makes the bill identical to the House bill that came out. It's about RUBS, racial utility billing systems, and we've heard these same kind of things for a number of years and almost decades by now. Move the bill as amended, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, so we'll move the amendments first.
Amendments.
I think.
I'm sorry.
Just to clarify, there was a minor change to this that the House and Senate sponsors agreed to. So it's not just the House bill. We've done an additional change since then that was addressed in
That's
subcommittee.
correct.
Any discussion on the amendments? And all in favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye. Any opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Bill's been moved and seconded. Discussion on SB 171. All in favor of SB 171, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, Delegate Baker, and Delegate Siliberte. You got him? All right. Somehow the bill still passes. SB 206, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 206 received a favorable recommendation from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. The bill establishes a specific procedure by which a board of directors of a condominium may grant a lease in excess of 1 year or similar interest affecting common elements of a condominium for the installation and use of leased clean energy equipment. Move the bill, Mr. Chair. There are no amendments.
Second.
Bill's moving second. Any discussion on SB 206? All in favor of SB 206, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 308, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 308 received a favorable recommendation from the Housing and Real Property Subcommittee. This departmental bill authorizes the governor on recommendation of the Secretary of Housing and Community Development to designate an area as a just community if the Secretary determines that the area meets specified criteria. The bill also establishes related findings of the intent of the General Assembly that the just community designation must be used to prioritize state funding to increase racial equity, a health equity in the state, and requires the governor to identify state programs on which the just community must receive priority for state funding. As indicated, there are no amendments on the bill, Mr. Chair, and this bill is identical to the House bill that was also passed out. Move the bill, Mr. Chair.
HB 308's been moved and seconded. Discussion on HB 308. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Okay, bill passes. SB 423, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 423 received a favorable recommendation from the subcommittee. There is no cross-file. This bill requires the treasurer, tax collector, or director of finance for a county to provide upon request a certificate clearly enumerating the taxes, assessments, and charges due to the county or municipality against the property for the transfer of ownership, and the counties to adopt procedures to issue the certificate. And as indicated, there are no amendments on this bill. And as we heard during testimony, this was in an attempt to clear up some of the things that take place when there are taxes owed prior to the transfer of property. Move the bill, Mr. Chair.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on SB 423? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Naraki and Delegate Baker. Okay, bill passes. SB 465, Chair Holmes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 465 is a straight favorable from the committee. The bill establishes standards relating to the installation and use of electric recharging equipment in cooperation housing corporations. The bill also extends existing procedures related to electrical vehicle recharging equipment in condominiums and homeowners associations to include electric bicycles, and requires the Department of Housing and Community Development to include additional information on its website related to common ownership communities. Further, the bill alters the standards and procedures for insurance coverage related to the installation and use of electrical vehicle charging stations equipment in condominiums and HOAs. Move the bill, Mr. Chair.
Bill's moved and second. Any discussion on SB 465? Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Naraki and Delegate Baker and Delegate Morgan. Bill passes. SB 274, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 274 is identical to HB 17, which the committee passed. Move favorable.
Bill's moved and second. Any discussion SB 274? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Naraki and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 295, Chair Stewart.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. SB 295 received a favorable recommendation from the subcommittee. It's a departmental bill that repeals obsolete provisions that require the planning department to prepare and periodically revise inventory lists of the natural resources of the state and of major public works and private facilities that are important to the development of the state as a whole. Move favorable.
I'll second. Bill's been moved and seconded. Any discussion on SB 295? All in favor of SB 295, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. SB 310, Chair Stewart.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This one's very similar to the last one. SB 310 also received a favorable recommendation. It's also a Department of Planning bill that repeals an obsolete requirement. This one had the planning department serve as a repository and clearinghouse for information about federal and state grants. There's now a different position that basically fills this role. Move the bill.
Bill's moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SB 310, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Okay, bill passes. SB 333, Chair Stewart.
Thanks, Mr. Chair. This one is a favorable with amendments recommendation from the subcommittee. The amendments are technical. They conform the bill with the Senate, and the Senate version. Move the amendments.
Any discussion on the amendments? Okay, all in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye. And opposed to the amendments, amendments pass.
Move the bills amended.
Bills been moved and seconded. Any discussion on SB 333? All in favor of SB 333 is amended, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Naraki, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 437, Chair Healy.
Mr. Chair, Senate Bill 437 is identical to House Bill 839, which passed the House. It applies only in Carroll County. It's a local bill. Move favorable.
Bill's moving second. Any discussion? SB 437, local bill. Okay, all in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition to this local bill? Bill passes. SB 1108, Chair Healy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Senate Bill 1108 is identical to House Bill 720 from the Carroll County delegation, which passed the House. There are no amendments. This emergency bill requires that every deputy clerk and they take their same oath. It's changing the oaths. We did this before. It's a local bill. It only applies to them. And so I move favorable.
Bill's moving second. Discussion SB 1108. All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. HB 130, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Subcommittee recommendation is favorable, no amendments. This departmental bill codifies and implements the provisions of the Governor's Executive Order 01/01/2023-07, which requires that the state reduce energy consumption in state-owned buildings by 20% by 2031, compared with a fiscal year 2018 baseline. Move the bill.
Bill's been moved and second. Any discussion on the bill? Okay. All in favor of HB 130, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 258.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This bill favorable, no amendments. It is identical to the bill we just passed, House Bill 130. Move the bill.
Those moving second. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor of SB 258, please signify by saying aye. Any wish to record in opposition? Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. SB 835, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill is identical to House Bill 992 as passed by the House. Amendment number 1 is technical. Amendment number 2 strikes language that would have required MDE to study and make recommendations on modernizing IT systems to connect local health department environmental programs, local governments, and MDE in relation to well and septic program permits. Move the amendments.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye. Any opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Those moved and seconded. Discussion on SB 835. Yes, Delegate Baker. Just jumping the gun on opposition. All right. All in favor of SB 835, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? We'll say Delegate Baker first and then Delegate Naraki. Bill passes. HB 1509, Chair Stein.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, this bill establishes the Baltimore Regional Water Governance Model Work Group to review and analyze various topics related to regional governance models for water and wastewater in the Baltimore region. The Mayor of Baltimore City and the Baltimore County Executive must jointly provide staff for the work group. In consultation with the Office of the Attorney General, the work group must develop a report of its findings and by June 30th, 2027, submit the report to the Mayor of Baltimore City, the Baltimore County Executive, the Governor, and the General Assembly. The work group must hire independent consultants to facilitate the work group's tasks. The Governor must include in the annual budget for fiscal year 2026 in appropriation of $500,000 to hire the independent consultants. The amendments alter the membership of the work group, require the work group to also consult with MDE in developing the report required under the bill, and prohibits the work group from considering or making any recommendations related to a privately operated regional water governance model. Move the amendments.
Amendments moved and seconded. Discussion of amendments. Delegate Otto.
I'm concerned about the appropriations in this. I mean, I think Baltimore County and Baltimore City could take care of the problem. I mean, I think it's a move in the right direction, and you should be working together in it. But I don't see why we need to be paying for it. So.
Okay, thank you, Delegate Otto. Further discussion on the amendments. For the amendments, signify by saying aye. Opposed to the amendments. Okay, amendments are passed.
Move the bill as amended.
Second, further discussion on the bill? Okay, all in favor of House Bill 1509 as amended, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Jacobs. Delegate, which way you stand, Delegate Jacobs? You against the bill? Okay, Delegate Jacobs, Delegate Otto, Delegate Siliberte, Delegate Morgan, and Delegate Baker. Okay. This is a House bill with amendments, so I don't know if anyone wants to be added as a co-sponsor. Delegate Ruth, Delegate Allen, Delegate Guyton. Ruth, Guyton, and Allen.
So Ruth, Allen, Guyton.
Everybody good? Okay. House Senate Bill 337, Chair Stein.
House Bill 323 as passed by the House. Move favorable.
Bill's moved and seconded. Discussion on the bill. All in favor of SB 337, please signify by saying aye. Anyone wish to record in opposition? Okay, bill passes. House Bill 812, Vice Chair Boyce.
Very beat J to it. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Subcommittee recommendation is favorable with amendments. As amended, the bill permanently extends a requirement beyond fiscal 2025 that the governor include funding in the annual budget bill to the Tri-County Council for Southern Maryland from the Cigarette Restitution Fund. The bill also increases the required annual appropriation from 900,000 to 1 million. Other requirements related to the amount and use of the funds remain unchanged. One, the appropriation must be in addition to and may not supplant any funding appropriated to the Tri-County Council. And two, the Tri-County Council must use the funds for activities of the Southern Maryland Agricultural Development Commission Subcommittee Amendment. The amendment strikes language that would have authorized a certain appropriation from the Cigarette Restitution Fund to the Tri-County Council. Move the amendment.
Let's move in second discussion of the amendments. On favor of the amendments, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed to the amendments, amendments passed.
Move the bill, Mr. Chair.
Okay, bills moved in second. Any discussion on HB 812? All in favor of House Bill House Bill 812, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Okay, bill passes. Senate Bill 589. Vice
Thank
Chair.
you, Mr. Chair. This bill is the cross-filed to a bill we just moved favorably with the amendments. HB 812, move the bill as amended.
Bills moved in second. Discussion SB 588. This looks like we did some amendments to conform, right? So on the amendments to
Yes, sorry.
conform to our version, all in favor, signify by saying
Sorry
aye.
about that. Aye.
And opposed to the amendments, amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Bills moved in second. Further discussion SB 589. All right, all in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Bill passes. House Bill 1465, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I have the Senate version, but it's the same as HB 1465. It is favorable. The bill essentially authorizes a soil conservation district to recommend a fee system to a local governing body to cover the cost of the district's review of small pond plans and establishes procedures for the development and enactment of a fee. Move the bill.
Second.
Bills moved and seconded. Any discussion on House Bill 1465? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Baker. And Naraki. You gotta use two arms. All right, bill passes. SB 196, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 196 is the same bill, cross-filed HB 1465 of the soil conservation, small ponds, plan review fees. Move the bill.
Second.
Bills moving second. Any further discussion on this bill? All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Delegate Naraki and Delegate Baker. Okay, bill passes. SB 777, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Bills favorable with amendments as amended. The bill is identical to the House Bill HB 918 as passed by the House. The bill removes the state treasurer from membership in one, the Board of Trustees for the Maryland Agricultural Land Preservation Foundation, two, the Maryland Commission on Climate Change, and three, the Coast Smart Council in the Maryland Department of Natural Resources. The bill adds the comptroller or the comptroller's designee to membership in the Maryland Commission on Climate Change and the Coast Smart Council. Amendment number one makes technical changes, and amendment number two strikes language that would have removed the state treasurer from the Board of Directors of the Maryland Environmental Services. Move the amendments.
Second.
Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm going to close the amendments. Amendments pass.
Move the bills amended.
Second.
SB 777 is moved in second. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. SB 854, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill, as you remember, we had the House version of it. It is identical to HB 929 that essentially requires rather than authorizes the Secretary of Agriculture to implement a program to use BTIs to control or eliminate nuisance insects in the state in accordance with the state's budget. Move the bill.
Second.
Bill's moved in second. Discussion on the bill. Okay, all in favor of SB 854, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to record in opposition? Bill passes. SB 547, Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A short bill again. This is the bill was the bill prohibits with specified exceptions a person from allowing for the performance of a covered animal in a traveling act. Amendment number 1 makes technical changes. Amendment number 2 clarifies the prohibition under the bill. Move the amendments.
Second.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bills amended.
Second.
SB 547 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Delegate Otto, Delegate Naraki, and Delegate Baker. Bill passes. HB 1507, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. HB 1507 came out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. As amended, HB 1507 alters the information that MTA is required to publish on its website before holding a public hearing on a major bus service change, and requires the MTA to distribute a report on major service changes to certain officials. Those are the amendments. Move the amendments.
Amendments are moved and seconded. Discussion on the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye. And opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
HB 1507 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And wish to be recorded in opposition. Okay, this is a House bill with amendments. So does anyone want to be added as a co-sponsor? Delegate Terasa, Delegate Ruth, and Delegate Lehman.
Delegates Terasa, Ruth, and Lehman.
Everybody good? Okay, SB 70, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 70 has been amended to be in the same posture as the bill we just voted on, HB 1507. Move the amendments.
Second.
Amendments moved and seconded. Any discussion on the amendments? All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Bill has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on SB 70? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? Bill passes. I'm going to hold HB 530. We need something to do next week. SB 277, Chair Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. SB 277 came out of subcommittee favorable with amendments. As amended, SB 277 exempts certain applicants for identification cards who present appropriate documentation to the MVA from paying the required fee. The amendment exempts other applicants participating in a state program that requires the applicant to possess an ID card from paying the issuance fee. Move the amendment.
Second.
Amendments have been moved and seconded. Discussion of the amendments. All in favor of the amendments, please signify by saying aye. And opposed to the amendments? Amendments pass.
Move the bill as amended.
Okay. Bill SB 277 has been moved and seconded. Any discussion on the bill? All right, all in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Anyone wish to be recorded in opposition? All right, bill passes.
HB 1446, Chair Love.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I believe there's a motion. Sorry, I wasn't
Yeah.
sure of the order of what was happening here.
Yes. Madam Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I would like to request a hold on this bill. Since the bridge collapse earlier this week, the Maryland Municipal League has expressed concerns about the likely increase in transport of hazardous waste by rail, and has requested amendments that would require notification to Department of Emergency Management, local governments within a mile of the track on which the hazardous material is to be transported. So, Madam Chair, I would like to hold this bill for purpose of potentially proposing an amendment.
I'll second that.
Any discussions on this? Further? Bill's been held.
That was exciting. Subcommittee announcements. Madam Vice Chair.
Thank you so much. We will meet at, what time is it? 2 o'clock.
Any other subcommittees? Delegate Love.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. MVT will likely be meeting on Monday or early Tuesday. Not really sure yet, so watch your email. Thanks.
just in terms of the schedule next week, I think you all heard we're on the floor at 6:30 Monday, so we'll be doing a couple hours of work on the floor Monday. We will have bill hearings on Tuesday and Wednesday, bring the parade of senators over to say hi. And we'll probably vote certainly on Tuesday and then, probably later in the week as well as things continue. But, we're in that period now where, it's going to be pretty fluid. So keep an ear out and an eye out for announcements. Everybody have a great weekend.